economy ya Kenya grow by 7.5%. Isn't that great? Remember last year tulikuwa minus 0.3, sasa tumeenda mpaka 7.5. Manzi, that's a very very huge jump. And are you feeling that? We've never seen these figures since the Kibaki era. Figures that we have for Kibaki is 6.9% in 2007 and then 8.1% in 2010. So those are the highest figures. Here's the question. The statistics are showing that the economy has grown exponentially, you can say. Are you feeling it in your pocket? Are you feeling it in your home? Are you able to sit down and say, well, this year has improved? Is that what you're feeling? Or you're feeling something else? Mimi ni mtu wa dredi, so let me use a reggae song. There's a song by Morgan Heritage inaitwa Ends na Meet. In that song, Morgan Heritage anasema wanatuambia mvua inanyesha, but tukiangalia kwa ground, the ground is still tough. Why? The truth can be that whatever growth is happening is not being felt by the population. Or perhaps we're using the wrong measure of showing that we are progressing. And so that leads me to the purpose of this video. Let us examine the GDP growth rate and why this might be a problem when you look at it as a measure of whether Kenya is progressing or not. Number one, we are calculating economic growth from a low position. Remember, the economy has been falling since 2018. In 2018, we had 5.8% growth. In 2019, we had 5.6 growth. In 2020, we had negative 0.3 growth. So we've been on a downward trajectory even before COVID and even before the Ukraine crisis. So now, it's only because that we went so far down, went negative, that now we are boosting back up. Remember, guys were not allowed to do their trade. Guys were not allowed to go outside. Guys were not allowed to travel across the country. So people have started breathing from that. So it's not that we were at a certain position. Let's say you are at, a good position in life. Umejenga hao, umefanya nini na vitu kama hizo. So now you're moving to a higher position. No. Sasa ni kama vile ulipoteza nyumba. Ni kama job, ile story ya job. Alipoteza nyumba, akapoteza wife, akapoteza kila kitu. So now he started recovering. So bado frustration iko kwa life yake. It's only that it was so frustrating, ameweza kupumua kidogo kwa sababu tumeweza ku release sanctions. Sanctions ituangaze lockdown measures. So that's one of the reasons why it seems that it has improved, but in your life you don't feel it because the struggle is still there. The struggle is still real and you're starting from a negative position. So you still have a long way to go. Pale unafaa kufika haujafika. Na sasa you're not only supposed to be there, but you're supposed to be further ahead than there. But ulipelekwa nyuma sana. So that you're trying to rush ahead. So that's one of the problems. Only one sector of the economy might be growing, or a few sectors of the economy might be growing, which might be a problem for the rest of us. For example, the construction industry, according to the economic survey, it grew by 6.6%, but agriculture fell by what? 0.2%, negative 0.2%. And how much of our economy depends on agriculture? A lot of it. We are an agricultural economy. That's the backbone of our economy. So you can see, for the majority of the population, there has been no improvement, right? And even in these sectors, like the construction industry, there's public and then there's private, right? So how much of that construction has been public and how much of it has been private? Remember, public is financed by outside sources of finance. Example, China, IMF, not IMF, World Bank, and all those other multilateral and bilateral mechanisms, right? So even in the construction industry, it's not that your growth inaweza kuwa mostly it's because of government expenditure or borrowing, not necessarily growth because wananchi wanapumua, the private sector is growing. And remember, it's only a few sectors that zinaweza kuwa zimegrow. Agriculture, where our backbone is, watu hawaja feel growth. So bado watu wana feel, hey manzi yo 7.5%, hiyo ni yenyu, mimi kwangu haijanifikia. Is the distribution of income in our society. For example, when the market value of milk, the market value of production of milk has increased from, what was it, by 22.7%, right? It's now at 33 point something billion. Now, who has benefited from this increase? Remember, Brookside owns at least, I think, 40% of the market. So that means that the person who has felt this benefit of the increase in market value of milk production is Brookside, owned by who? By one family, right? Have the milk producers at the bottom, have they felt this? And if they have felt it, how much of it has been eaten by inflation, right? Remember, it's it's expensive to be poor. So you can see that 7.5%, it's not evenly distributed across the economy. And even in specific sectors, you might find that most of it is being absorbed by the top guys in the economy. The guys who can own more than 40% of a very critical industry in the country. So, out of 7.5%. Another way of looking at this 7.5% growth is the sustainability of whatever we has, let's say, increased. For example, look at the revenue for the Madaraka Express. That's the SGR, right? I think it's increased up to 2.2 billion, right? But most of it is being used to do what? To pay debts. So you can see that, okay, ni kama ulikuwa umechukua loan, sawa. Saizi unaweza kalipa more of that loan, but bado hawezi kalipa the entire loan. Bado it's not sustainable. Whatever you're doing, your increase is not sustainable to pay that loan yenye uko nayo. So bado at the end of it, bado uko na hiyo pressure ya Okash, bado uko na hiyo pressure ya Tala, bado uko na hiyo pressure ya Fuliza. So eventually, the economy will not feel that 7.5%. Ndio umeweza kusukuma hiyo loan kidogo, but bado haiko sustainable. Bado you need a serious amount of income ndio umalize, ama you need to renegotiate the loans that you have, ama you need a miracle. But that 7.5%, I feel, because there's so much more that you need to pay for. Is that whatever growth that you're experiencing, it does not give you an idea of the quality of something that has increased. Let me give you an example. Mobile subscriptions, they have increased by 6.6%. Does that mean that the quality of the calls has increased by the same rate? So you might actually be making more calls, you might actually be spending more on calls, but bado uko frustrated kwa sababu Airtel network haiwork. Lazima utoke nje ndo iwork. Lazima utafute ka base fulani upande kwa mti fulani ndo iwork. So the quality is not guaranteed when it comes to economic growth rate. So that's why you might be frustrated still, even though wanasema that economy may increase by 7.5%. Kuna other examples of the same kind of thing. Example, total electricity demand will increase by 8.7%, but KPLC bado ni wajinga. KPLC bado utapata blackouts. So ndio demand may increase, more people are paying, but the frustration ya KPLC bado iko kwa sababu quality yao increase. Na kuna mtu anaongea about ending that monopoly. Chukua kitu kingine kama NHIF. NHIF membership may increase by 6.6%, right? But bado nina kwa hospitali unaambiwa niaje provide your own medicine. Unaenda kwa hospitali unaulizwaje when is civil servant? When is civil servant? Guy uishe. Hatutaweza kusaidia. So you get that people can actually be paying more for these services, but the frustration is still there. So all you have is more people paying for frustration, as opposed to more people receiving better quality services. So the frustration will still be there, even though the economy has recorded an increase in the number of people who are paying for that. The thing that the 7.5% does not take into account is the informal non-market, let's say informal transactions. Let me just call it that. For example, kuna the black market, how are things over there? kuna the informal economy, how are things over there.